welcome everybody to the 9 podcast to show it and like I still coming.
Is this where you say no one's getting their money back?
No one is getting their money back. No, I know. I don't care whether you don't like it or not. I hope you will enjoy it and I hope you find something very interesting. Because we've got some very interesting guests today. But yeah, we basically set this up because we wanted to do something nice for Kate's charity. So I don't know if anybody knows anything about Genie Wish. You've got any people in there, show our hands, people who go to Genie Wish or deal with Genie Wish. That's made you feel better, right?
It has, yeah, I've done the job.
Obviously, your LinkedIn video, this video is working very well. Good. But yeah, thank you all for coming. All the money raised today will go towards the Genie Wish. So yeah, really, what we're going to talk about is like video and how you can use it in your business. Some of you are using it effectively, some of you are not using it at all, I'm sure. But I brought 3 experts together and we can string it together. I guess is the right thing. Imagine you like the idiot on the side who's learning as we're going along, and really that's what the podcast is all about when I set it up. Damn big generation, but I'm like. But we'll do it. Well, it's nice to see some of my guests in here. We've got Emily and Alice. What your name is? I should know it really well. Emily and Alan, both been like. Pat over in the corner. Addy's recently been on, so that one will be out soon. So yeah, thank you for coming along to support it. But Kate, do you want to come up and say a few words? Say thank you to all the company people.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done. Right, everyone, thank you all for coming today and supporting the Genie's Wish and these wonderful experts that are going to talk to you today. So to tell you about Genie's Wish, so I'm one of the co-founders. And what was I going to say about Genie's Wish? Yeah, I'm one of the co-founders, and the reason that we set the charity up is because all of the other wish granting charities stop their services at 18. And as you know, illness doesn't stop at 18, so there was a real cap in the market. And Martin and I. Oh great, the camera as well. Yay! Thought with theirs out. Yeah, so we opened the Genie's Wish. Martin and I worked together for about 10 years at a similar charity, and as I said, they all stop at 18. We met lots of families that were in Resi that we can support. So the Genie's Wish was built. We had to work in other jobs to build the brand. And so what we do is we support people from birth all the way up to 40 who have a serious illness or a life-limiting condition. And then we go one step further by supporting young carers as well, because every family we've met has a young carer. And we do that from 5 to 18. You right? Okay. So just to put back to context, the youngest young carer we supported is actually 6. So when people say, well, how's a 6-year-old young carer? And it's a real natural development. So Percy is in his family, his dad's got an illness, and his brother is 24/7 care and has a severe disability. So he naturally will do things like fetch his oxygen tank or help mum, watch him while she's going to make dinner. So he then becomes a young carer. As he gets older, then their responsibilities will grow and grow. So that's a 6-year-old, that's how young carers form. And there's just so many out there. So we grant wishes for them as well as people with illness, because we like to see the whole story. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
So what is a wish? So anything you could possibly think about, don't suggest anything. Look at it,
It's like when the Rock collects them in their car from school type thing.
Is it what, sorry?
Like when the Rock collects them, like those sorts of
Oh, yeah. Actually, I had a video of how we're going to do some celeb drops in a minute. So a wish could be anything. And I don't really think this is a wish, but specialised equipment, it's so expensive and people get given the box standard things like wheelchairs and trikes and things, but it's not adapted to their needs. Every specialised piece of equipment we make is usually bespoke, and that's why it's expensive. But we do provide wheelchairs. We had an eye gaze, which is a bit like Stephen Hawking, he used to speak through his eyes. Well, Neil is 13 and non-verbal, and her mum said, we want to try this eye gaze to see if she can verbalise and talk to us through her eyes. And when she, so what she had to do, she had to have a cognitive sort of test to see if she can understand. And sadly, she could understand, she just couldn't say what she wanted to say. So, and imagine that 13 years of silence, not being able to say anything simple. So we funded the eye gaze for her last year. And her mum said, she's even asking to go to the toilet, which, you can imagine, not been able to say these things, but it's changed their life. She could say, I want to go to the Bruce, I want to wear pink today. So it's stuff like that, it's technology, it's specialised equipment. And then going on to sort of meeting your hero, last year we met Ed Sheeran. And he smelled amazing. Becoming a bit of a celebrity sniffer, just because they hug you at this height. When you get hugged by someone tall, you end up in their slick. So it's not great. And then tomorrow we're actually meeting Youngblood, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be really nice. And I have a video, if anyone follows us or is going to, at the Genie's Wish on TikTok and Instagram. There's a video of Tyson Fury sending a message to Ryan. It's just the cutest thing you ever could see. So the celebrity meet and greets don't cost us a lot, but the impact is huge. Like, you can imagine a child's like, oh my God, my hero. It's such a nice thing to witness. So apart from that, it can be confidence building wishes or life skill wishes like driving lessons, swimming lessons. Pretty much, you can think of it, we've done it. And we've granted 200 wishes to date now in 5 years. And we organise big events. So every year we have a Christmas party at Hamley's. We have it to ourselves. We invite about 300 people. We've taken 200 wish families to Auckland Towers. We're trying to do more of these bigger impact events just to bring people together and build a connection, really. So that's kind of the wishes. We are a small charity. There's 3 of us now. Martin and I do the fundraising, and Vic does the wish coordinating. We cover England and Wales, so we're giving ourselves a massive job, but we love it. And I think for us, it's about the good thing about wishes is we get to know families, and we can really share like the 360 story. So we can tell you the beginning, the during, and the after. And I think that's so important to fundraisers to understand the impact of what we're doing and build that trust into a smaller charity. So if anyone is looking to fundraise or would like to support a small charity and isn't sure where to start, as you can see, I'll have a chat. Come and speak to me afterwards or connect, and we can talk more about it. Thank you.
So, can you sort of the inspirations of what we kind of put this together today, and that what's really the main parts of what we're going to do. Do you want me to sing in the themes and say, I actually listen to my podcast? Yeah. How many people, shout out how many people actually listen? That's really nice. There's a subscribe thing there. If you want to subscribe, just hit the link in.
I know the lyrics off by heart.
Thanks, Brad. You did the little intro. So let's get someone to sing it on the Yeah. No, I can't do that. Yeah, right. Go on. Lots of text. Big back, does that mean? You only let any Samal do it. I'm not enjoying it. You knew that, okay? I'm just going to do it. So, you can sing along, you know the words.
Welcome to the O'Malley podcast show. What we will talk about, no one will know. So sit down and relax and learn some awesome facts. It's the Talk to O'Malley podcast show.
With me, James, Andy, and Alan. Cool. That's all the music you're going to get out. No rude songs. God, I'm not doing rude songs. If you came to my little party, I was saying a rude song. So, I never get my notes because I like ChatGPT. So yeah, that's it before we came on. This is really just put everyone together. So if you're not using video or you want to use video in your business, I've got these 3 experts along here to teach you anything that you know what you're doing. So I've got some ChatGPT questions just today as a bit of a throw out. Show of hands questions. So, on average, how much of a message do people retain when they watch a video versus reading text? Show of hands. So it's 10%, 25%, 50%, or 95%.
I'm 95 the way you say it. Are we answering?
Yeah, anyone can answer if you want. 90, you said 95. And then you can have it. Oh, we will sweet this.
Oh, God.
So,
That's in health and safety.
that's absolutely something in our field suite. What percentage of people say they'd rather watch a short video than read about a product or service? So is it 45, 60%, 72, 85%? Yeah. Who's supposed to say 72? I heard Susie. So. Down there, infinite aura. And then, what percentage of businesses say video has helped to increase their sales? So is it 52%, 64%, 78%, or 87%?
64.
85. Oh, Vanessa, 85.
Yeah.
We'll add these posts to your next. Yes, now. But you can have this with something. It's 87%. It's really just to show you the impact of what using video in your business can actually do. So let me introduce my guests anyway. So we've got Andy Wood from Pulse 8 Video Production, which you'll get it right. Gayle from Happy Podcast Studio, Straw Hat Socials, and Alan Braithwaite from Yellow Tuxedo Digital Circus. Andy, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you can.
I haven't practiced for this mic. Is it too loud? So, okay, cool. So yeah, Andy from Braithwaite Production. I feel like the main sponsor because I've got these two banners on. We have a studio in Chelmsford and we work with loads of businesses from video podcasts to on-site filming, our Procast service, which is a root service. Yeah, put me on the spot. Why did I have to go first?
Just
Okay.
it's in order.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't used Andy, I'm in Victoria Studio and it's lovely. No one in the Victoria Studio. Yeah.
Well, a few people thank you for the support.
Upbeat. I love watching Andy on LinkedIn.
Yeah, watch it out.
It's a liker. I do comment and like it. I think that's kind of key. And then I've got James.
Hello. So I run Habs Podcast Studios and the Straw Hat Group. Habs Podcast Studios is essentially a social first studio that does short YouTube videos, podcasts, easy one sesh, done and dusted. And then the Straw Hat Group is essentially the agency offering. So we turn content into commercial intelligence, if that makes any sense. So we automotive B2B, the public sector, to activate both their company brand and their personal brands at the same time. So you can imagine starting a podcast or a YouTube series for a company, the people or employees that are involved in that, we then activate them. There's all the sort of super sales influencers within their own companies to make sure we get to much organic reach as possible. So that's essentially how our company formulates. We're a content marketing company and making sure that the distribution is the most important thing. So I'm going to be hounding on that today in terms of once you've got your video, what do you do with it? And Alan. So good morning, all. My name is Alan. I'm one half of Yellow Tuxedo with my family's wife, Emily. And we do a couple of different things, we do a couple of different things. So the bit most relevant today is our online visibility specialist stuff. And what that's about is we talk about digital marketing, we talk about running things out and looking at an ROI on it. Whereas online visibility is a completely different model, but looks at building an ecosystem with virtual doors where people can come through, become your audience, become your community, become fans of your brand. So we look at it in a slightly different way, which works for loads of businesses if they want to adopt that. The other thing we do, which is way cooler than that, is we run experiences because we're very much about human connection, time and space. So we run days out from businesses for people to connect on a human level. And the two coming up this year that we're talking about at the moment, we've got a Funpreneurs Big Day Out, Junior Level at Bolton Park, and we're off to Morocco in November to truly get some time out of your business to allow yourself to grow as a human with other human beings.
I like that. Morocco. See that most of the people in here are, we've got mainly solo people, right? So it's a lot of solopreneurs who are out getting everything done.
Can I'm about to hold the mic, so just hold on everyone. Is we go to, right, hands up who's a business owner, right? Okay. We all do this stuff. We're business owners, we're in it, we're doing it. We go to networking events, go, hi, I'm Alan from Yellow Tuxedo, I'm an online visibility specialist, and we want to get this business to start. But the bit where the magic happens is when we're chatting in the lift, on the stairs, at the coffee machine. We take those tiny moments and blow them up for bigger at times. So by the time you leave, you fast track. There's none of this, I've been chatting on the DM and LinkedIn for 5 years and now with pals. We want people to leave pals by the end of the event. That's the goal. Yes, passionate miss.
Well, I want you to talk a little bit about the background there. And it's been like when you came on the show before, and I didn't really have a clue what you do. So now,
Do you have a clue now?
still not really.
Everything I yell at you, we make a lot of noise and hopefully you'll come a bit closer. Is that better?
Yeah, I guess. But then how can you help these people today? So I mean, what you got? Oh, well then.
Sorry, Tom, I've just got one quick question for the old touch guy, right? I would love to go to Morocco,
Yeah.
right? Can you advise how I explain to my missus that I trip to Morocco on my own is through the business?
Answer one, bring her if you want, right? So our events are always as inclusive as we can. People bring their kids on the fun with their big day out, but if you do not wish to bring your wife, it's a business retreat. You are literally going there for your own growth, your own creativity, the growth of your business.
She might not see it that way.
I don't think I've actually seen
No,
that.
Other mates, I'll be going, you might want to question someone.
Just send her this recording.
Welcome to the Let's Sell Morocco trip.
And mission accomplished.
There you go. That's all he said to me. So how much can I talk about Morocco? So, I mean, you wrote some questions down that I asked you to write because it's easier to start a conversation with. We can all talk about it, which is the general gist of how this works, right? So, Alan, you've helped businesses with online ecosystems and digital architecture. Does that mean you're a builder, an architect, or just a guy who hates broken links?
Thank you for that question, Tom. I'm gobsmacked you come straight to me after you already talking.
It led on, naturally.
So it comes from a place of efficiency and simplicity. So when Emily and I had a business before this, we were in the outdoor wedding events for a decade. And long story short, in the wedding world, if you know it, you would go to, at this point, you'd go to wedding fairs and you'd spam Facebook groups if a engaged couple were brave enough to enter that Facebook group. And they would go, anyone know a florist? And you'd go, we do bell tents, we do bell tents. And they go, that's not what I'm asking for. And we were like, this is all a bit shit. We need to come up with a much more efficient way of growing our business. So we moved that model totally online. And like I say, we look at it as an ecosystem where people enter when and where they're ready. They become part of your audience and your community, and then you're ready to sell. And all of that is about efficiency and time to give you the space to then go and work on your business over here, or to go on trips to Morocco and Fopper's Day Out, whatever you choose to do with that. But it also aligns your online presence in a much more organised way rather than lots of silos. So when you're doing it, if you decide you want to sell your business in the future, it is a much more sellable asset because you can explain what each component on your online presence is actually doing.
So rather than just making video, what you're making?
Video should be virtual doors to your ecosystem in your
Yeah.
which they are, which is what these guys are saying.
Yeah. And what's your view on that? Talk.
I can talk now. I don't talk as elegant as Alan though. So my view is that I lost track of what you were saying.
It's fine. It's fine. Right, let's hold on for dear life and let's see where we end up.
I think it's true. Yeah, it's video is the virtual way into a business. Is how you get to know a business is through video. If you're brave enough to do some silly stuff like me and do something to camera, people get to know who you are. This, for me, and put your hands up if you film yourself with your phone for your business. Yeah, a few of you. How comfortable do you feel when you do that? That's how I feel right now in front of all of you, because this is out of my comfort zone. But the more you do it, the better you feel, and the more your personality comes across, gets to know you, and then gets to know what you do, and then this stepping stone into your ecosystem, into what you do. You build that trust through video content, basically.
So have you always been behind the camera?
Oh God, no. I was a graphic designer beforehand, and I started flying drones 9 years ago, and then I decided to go into filming, and I wanted to understand how uncomfortable it was to be on the other side of the camera, so I forced myself in front of it as well. And now you can't give me away from it.
But how do you remember how you felt the first time you did it? Because I mean, a lot of people in here who don't use video, particularly, I guess in some of the
Yeah, so how I felt was like, are people going to take the mick out of me? Are they going to trust what I'm saying? Have I got the authority to say what I'm saying? And you have all your little hang-ups. Like, I have an identical twin brother, so if you do see me, wait for me to say hello first. True story. And so basically, when I watch a video back, I just cringe because I see my twin brother and all the little things he does in his mannerisms and what he says, his left eyebrow raised and all that sort of things. But eventually you get over that, you just don't care, because you know that you start seeing the results of people trying to having those conversations. You think, you know what, this is working, I'm going to do some more.
I think you're right with the authority bit aspect on that. I remember when I first started that 80 was going, sort of, well, shit.
I've got to say this. When you first went in front of the camera, what was your immediate thought? And how did you actually deal with it?
So I was alone in my room.
All great stories.
No, I spent a long time trying to set up the perfect scene so that I felt comfortable and it looked like I knew what I was doing. I had bullet points in front of me. It took me about 30 attempts just to say a couple of sentences, scrap the first few videos. Then eventually I got so frustrated, I just thought I just couldn't do it quickly. And then did puff shit, there's another one. You go through that stage. Here, you don't get it, to re-edit it or refilm it. So that's how I feel. My heart goes 10 to the dozen. And I'm like, and then you stop breathing. But that's all completely natural type of thing.
Yeah, because I do. But the only reason I asked that question, because when I first did it, it took me forever, over a year to even do the first video. And then I sort of went on and on and on. And somebody said to me, imagine you'll sort of be one person, imagine their neighbours, so put one to smile and say, see, God, I don't natural.
What's the name of it? Explain what you do, Paul, before.
Yes. Oh, it's right, okay.
Just what you people
I used to build cab vans. I'm still in the cab van community. And we're back here on stage over back holiday because we run big self-build advice hub for people. And now sort of transition because I'm too old to climb in and out of vans. I'm done with that. I want an easier life, so I become a professional day trader, trade on stock markets and stuff like that. And I've actually called myself Valid Trader, sort of bringing it across, sort of giving everybody that sort of mobile freedom. I'm even trying to help businesses grow income instead of taking out loans to support their businesses.
Wall on wheels, to that to see.
Oh yeah, free money.
They're weird. Change your experiences in video, because how long have you been in the game? You've been in the game for a long time.
Over 6 years now. I've been in marketing for over 10. Started my career client side, worked in BQ Lab team. Worked for in other agencies after that. Worked with brands like Samsung, EE, brands like that. But no matter what company I worked for, whether it was in-house or externally as an agency, what frustrated me was everyone underestimating social. The conversation progressed a long way. For this room, we talked about the use of video. You had corporations of massive sizes underestimating that camera at the back. And there's kids in their bedrooms kicking our asses every day with a webcam or just that phone. And we sit there underestimating it, undervaluing it, because we don't understand social as a distribution method. And we have to kind of separate our psychology of how we feel in front of the camera and just distribute volume. So the thing I come back to about video is how many of us are fairly au fait with the algorithms at the moment for social? Like, who feels that they have a good handle on it? I ain't got being honest. No, right. All of them are different, mind you, and I constantly put out guides and things, right? But you don't want to get too much into the weeds and the technicalities, because there's one universal truth that goes across all of them. Is all of them, apart from exceptions like maybe Substack and Blue Sky, are interest-based algorithms that suggest things based on who they think you are, which means us as businesses need to produce far more volume than you ever thought you needed to make sure you land in the correct person's feed. So the psychology part video, you need to separate it because you need to produce more. So video is just one tool of the full methodology. Each platform has its preferred formats. For instance, infographics and PDFs killing it on LinkedIn right now compared to video. There's actually got another 3 on the list, so everything is different. But until you understand that everything's interest-based, you won't really be in the right mindset to produce videos anyway. So you've got to look where it's going, how it's actually working outside that. And the unhealthy advice I have about video is pretend to be someone else. I literally have to invent another guy in my head to do things like this talk or to do videos because I was so obsessed back in the day. I was so bored into hustle culture. But I kind of did try and do this kind of Bruce Wayne, Batman separation in my head because I was so bought in hustle culture back in the day that I was like, I have to beat the person that whipped, right? I was like, I'll do the things that others won't to succeed. And I got all obsessed about it. Not the healthiest advice, but it did help me get in a place to listen. I had no business talking, never done public speaking, but my alter ego had. He was really good. He could look the crowd. And I would just wake up later after this is finished in the car, like, oh, that is great. That's essentially how I think about it in general.
I know when I've done a day and I'm not, but you don't do it, but my pipe come from sitting in an optics for 10 years, idle flying decks, having led lead spectrum meter going out, finding people, doing lots of old doing lots of networking, finally clocking on the courage to do a video, and then what my top tip is, just throw yourself at it, just do it, because you will never do it otherwise. I mean, you know it goes over the top of my job, I'm sure I get off it's like always there on video, but yeah, that's my top tip. So, you just do it.
I was tuning into what Andy said, like, when you were talking about getting into it, Andy, in your bedroom. It's like, the thing is, back when we were getting into video, going live was a thing, but when you go live, you don't get to rehearse, you don't get to go, I'm not going to post that, you don't get to, and yeah, I imagine you would say live's not up there that far on the algorithms at the moment.
Depends on the platform.
Okay, depends on the platform.
TikTok kills it.
But by going live, you remove some of those things, you have to just do it, and no one cares. I think that's always a big thing. No one actually cares when you, only you care, right? And we care about our stuff. No one else cares.
So what do you think will go? What do you think people think will go wrong, or what are there?
Well, what we get from our clients, because we do, this isn't a pitch, by the way, for one of our services.
Whatever.
Yeah. So we did this profile service where it's a sit down 45-minute chat with myself, and you don't look at the camera. We create social clips from it if you're starting off in video. And I think what people worry about is, for instance, we had a client in who's in recruitment. And I posed a question to her on the camera. I said, what makes you different? And she said, nothing. And I was like, well, actually, what makes you different is your personality, who you are, and how you deliver your service. And I think that's what people worry about. And it's understanding like who your audience is, who you're talking to. Once you understand that person, you can then work out what to do from it.
I think I asked the question. Did I?
Yeah.
I can say. I think James works and I said, well, I don't know, you just maybe get on with that. What's your experience maybe?
I have a real mixture. You know, my series is half used by creators who are making their own dedicated show, the other half is kind of businesses. And I think, when you set out to create a piece of content, having the end goal in mind is important. So I often say to people, look, you can use podcasts in a few different ways. If we take that for example, you can use it as a ruthless clip farm. That I kind of refer to it as. Is anyone familiar with the term clip farming? Just curiosity. It's a very Gen Z term. That essentially that means I'll take one long form piece and I'll get as much out of it as possible for distribution. Right? That's the simple answer. So you can just start a piece. You couldn't care about the full show. You just whack it on YouTube or video. Doesn't matter. That's just you getting your messaging out there consistently. That's one angle. Angle two is using it as its dedicated show, as a separate brand, as a separate identity. Having that in mind is important. Or you can do a kind of mishmash and potentially even use podcasts as a new business tool. So for instance, me B2B, if I want to sign a head B&Q social team or something like that, or I want to get in there, well, if I come in and go, we serve X, Y, and Z, I'm getting bored. But if I say, this is incredible, I'd love to interview you and give you a bunch of clips for your personal brand, because you're supposed to grow it, content's currency. So you can use that and leverage it. So going in knowing what is this thing, what it's supposed to be, what can I use it for, is really important. And having the goal really does help frame that sense of mind, because it helps you plan out what that show can be. Going back to what differentiates you, things like that. When I plan podcasts, plan the top level things. Say if I'm talking about social distribution, I'm just an identifiable question about the algorithms, something like that, right? I now know in each talking point I have a minimum of one clip. So if I have single shows in, that's my one piece, bang, up there. And then I've probably got 2 mid-sized clips, and then I know I at least have 10 shorts from 1 hour of recording. So you can really be efficient with how you use content, and it does change the mind a bit, because it's more formulaic. Does that pressure on you? You can really start thinking about it. But if you also want it to be its own show, you can't really do it that way. It has to have such more entertainment value, and you should probably check this online. Zoe, who's incredible at this, right? Being a better creator, podcaster, that is really important. So you have to know your goal, it helps you get to where you need to be.
I just find there's so much to do all the time that I know what's important, but having the time to actually sit and do it is quite hard. Where do you, if you were someone coming into this completely new looking at it, where would you say to start? Make it, or have a plan, or what would be the plan?
Give a quick example of business type.
Wheeling me as an example, even though I've done half of it probably in a mismatched way because I'm not very massively organised, but if I wanted to sell my insurance product, say life insurance to Vinny, I'll show a little plug. Life insurance to Vinny company directors, predominantly with slap sport and 9% cheaper. To a Swedish to buy. But if I was at the moment, I'd just post it on LinkedIn or post it on Instagram. You got a picture, a bit of text, and and suddenly want to make a step. How would you go about it? What would you advise? Sure.
I
can go straight.
But this is exactly where Alan's
I'm sorry.
I want the word homing privacy to come out.
So yeah. Okay, step one is what is your goal, which was also mentioned here, right? You have to know what you're doing, where you're going. We always talk about like you're driving off your driveway, you need to know where you're driving to, but how you get there is kind of up to you, right? So you've got to know where you go. And then you want to make that process as efficient as possible. So one of the things we're really big on is optimizing. So I was chatting to an SEO guy earlier. Why can't I see that? Oh, you're there, right on me. And one of the ways that like SEO is still so relevant even in this AI world, because like, as a really bad example, no one is searching for 12345.jpg or Yellow Tuxedo podcast episode 1. People aren't looking for that. What they're looking for is for answers to their question or something that might entertain them. So you have to title things properly. And then when you start to build it in this, I'll get to the clips part. I used to answer clips. So when you're putting this content out, it has to be doing something. So we want it to be optimized. We want the call to action, whether that be hard or a soft call to action, as in buy from me or grab my newsletter or why not like and subscribe, you have to have a little bit more there. You need to make these steps, these little branding touch points for people to enjoy and get involved with, right? And that means when you are putting something online, it is working hard for you other than just looking pretty for the people you share the link directly to. One of my pet hates is just like my new website, it's like how much traffic's it getting? None. Why not? You've just paid thousands for it. So well, get it working for you. It's an asset for your business. So then when we move on to then, you've made that content and what to do it. So yeah, our bit's about making sure it's working out online for you. And you're more about, we can talk about it, but I thought this is your work.
Well, thank you, because my world now blends into more places than it used to be. So traditionally, before this big rebranding shuffle, I had an agency called Showin Social, which was purely a social media agency, right? And now it's just one component of what we do. Because of the rise of AI and LLMs and search platforms, so ChatGPT-4 and the like, social has become way more important than it used to be because it's one of the most sourced things from it. I think one of the graphs I saw is that LinkedIn and Reddit are two of the top 3 most sourced things from the search platforms, right? Which is nuts, because it wants to pull from Wikipedia for a start. And then it follows up with, I think Wikipedia is at the top for each reason. And then in the top 10, it basically stacked with the rest of the social platforms. So when people go and asking their questions, the place where you start has changed slightly. So we're looking at terms of SEO. It used to be, you go to Google, now you can go and choose any of the 4 plus Google, right? So multiple directions you can start. However, SEO comes in to actually feed that answer to ChatGPT or the like, because that's how do you optimize it, because it likes to see it in a certain way. So SEO is just as important as anything else now. But the social content has to be out there because it's also being booked from there. So now you're in a world where SEO, social, and web are completely linked. So this is why the efficiency of that content ecosystem becomes really important. And what is your distribution model? Do you have some kind of video content powering it? So we talked earlier about the long piece of content, the mid piece of content, and short pieces, right? So essentially that's up to 30 assets in an hour, which is pretty good, right? What we do is we do that, but on crack, we take that to the next level. So We'll then extrapolate the transcript of the podcast conversation, which some of you might be familiar with this method, and it will transform that into relevant blog articles that answer the questions that the videos did as well. If an activity website drive traffic is content marketing, so that's an entry point to ecosystem. But then we also take really impactful ones and use that as the text or graphics, which using something like Claude, you can now make really nice infographics, cheat sheets, carousels. This is how I'm looking at the LinkedIn perspective, right? So you've now taken one piece of recording, you transformed it into video, social, web content, and you can take it even further than that and include some of these nice fights in your email newsletter, right? So the efficiency and the strategy, Tom, going back to what we'd actually do for you, we make your podcast work a hell of a lot harder, and probably add more things in terms of you being more selfish and saying what you do. Because I know you've seen stuff that it's the casual break that actually you've offering incredible service, right? So you need to get it out to more people in a real local person. So that's your key advantage, and now to get people in the door.
Sorry, I'm now warmed up on the efficiency one, right? But I think that's.
Can I say something?
Go for it.
As I'm next to two very big powerhouses here, I like to simplify things right down because I'm a simple guy. Basically, what videos to start off with is the most common asked question by your clients when you're sat in front of them. If you answer those in the video, you got 10 straight away. The strategy stuff, these guys, we do help with that. But that is the first thing you want to start with, and that's what I started off with. Start off with what do you do, FAQs, call to action, and keep it very, very simple. Don't overspeak your first videos, is the main thing.
It is true. Is it interesting? You talk about answering the question your audience are already asking. We work on the basis that if the X amount of people you're talking to are asking you that, then, and we can get this figure, then there's Y amount out on the internet searching for its answer. So be the answer for those people looking for it. Yep.
Can you ask the question to ask?
Well, I can't even remember what
Emily, don't start with creativity.
I'll answer that. So if you're really busy and you haven't time to do videos, do what I started 2 weeks ago and just take out your phone and do a 1-minute video. It's got a counter on it for Instagram stories, and I hated it to start off with. And I've done a few today, and now I'm on a roll. I do about 5, 6, maybe 7 a day of what's going on during the day, where I'm going, and I've got to the point where I do care, people care, but if you don't want to see this face, stop following me, because you'll see a lot more of me. And I'll just say, like, I'm going to the Ferrum Innovation Centre to do this. 30 seconds done, 24 hours is going to be there full, so yeah.
Though. That I call that living out loud content, and that is probably some of the best converting content you'll ever put out on the internet, rather than the scripted, the corporate, the very,
So there's 2 types of videos, and because we work with companies who produce a lot of content for distribution, professionally filmed, we're even doing some work for Abri next week. You know who Abri are? And they've given us a brief of, we want it professionally filmed, but to make it like we've done it ourselves, so it's authentic. That's absolutely fine. So you've got 2 types. You've got your out now one, I like that, I've never heard of that term before, out now, and then you've got your polished evergreen content, which lives out online, so that the SEO stuff can happen.
Does anyone, how many people work in the service like industry? So it's you're open the service, actually growing it, right? And not everyone's selling product. Does anyone worry that they're like too much? Or what are your throw it out to me once, what are your hang-ups about? Because like I was scared, but I also worry now they're too much. Or I'm not relevant, or people don't know what I do.
Got a question that mentions stories. Yeah, Instagram stories. In Instagram stories, kick up stories now. Apparently, I don't know how true it is, so I thought maybe one of you lot like. They'd be pushed really big at the moment, not they? As they're TikTok stories, yeah, they're creating a lot of followers. Is that right?
Yeah, because TikTok will be the only one that recommends it as you scroll through your feed. It doesn't really work that way for suggesting Instagram stories, because Instagram stories have been a solid foundation. And Instagram stories often do go to existing audience. That's one thing to keep in mind. If you're after to grow to a new audience, I'd recommend doing the same for the video content.
I disagree with you.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't ask me that person to say. So it's only because I hate TikTok. I'm not on it. It's up to you whether you get on it, and it does work. But Instagram, so in the last 2 weeks, up until last Thursday, every time I posted a story on Instagram, it's just for my followers. But what I changed was I was tagging people in who whales go and see. They then share up to their stories. One of my videos yesterday was only 5% of my audience, the rest was 95% of people I don't know.
I think you tag individuals.
Yes, so that's the important thing. Tag individuals and location.
Yes, because both TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram will have collab features now on their page posts, so that does help. Ooh, question of that.
I have to ask about reposting videos because at the charity I'm also, so I try to say, can you repost it, but I don't get the activity, it's seen half as much.
No.
Is that an algorithm problem?
Yeah, it's just not a high priority thing, but it doesn't have.
Originally.
Yeah.
So,
like, I think even the head of Instagram says he hates it when you share your own host to stories straight up. If it's a normal feed post, that will just probably go to a minimal amount of people. But sharing people things that are really photo and Instagram is pretty easy. There's no harm in doing it, especially if you're trying to amplify something simply.
I find more LinkedIn, like other repost, like in some Scott.
Oh, LinkedIn repost even worse.
Yeah.
To trash. Don't we?
So,
Actually, that's the best repost. The best story.
and some days you've got to do something right. Does anyone ever wake up and go, I don't really know what to post today? We do, and we are not shy to talk, And so some days I just want to do something. And if I can't, or we're busy, or the kids are ill, or which happens a lot in our house, or all these other things, I go, well, that's interesting, repost. At least I've done something. And in this day, we're talking about as much content as possible. Okay, that might be a bit far at some days, but do something. I think doing nothing is the bigger issue, or overthinking it, or go, what should I do today? If you don't know, find something that's interesting and repost it. You've done one thing, perhaps one thing or nothing.
Is like LinkedIn. Obviously, I think LinkedIn as well. I show it, not struggling, but like my LinkedIn impressions are down quite a lot. Is there a reason for them?
The new introduction 360 Brews, the new outward. So it's a pain, but it's not impossible.
So what do we have to do?
Certain formats are winning, and it's clamping down very obvious AI content for a start. So you are using ChatGPT or Claude for your captions. Try and make it cheap as possible. It does make a difference. Certain formats do prioritise over others. So PDX and infographics are really winning right now, with video coming in third. Not actually posting too much. Daily posts are actually recommended. I've started posting twice a day, and it's not really having any effect, to be honest. Both the post update kind of get less views, so kind of less is more in the LinkedIn sense, and laws are still daily. So there's lots of little changes, and take note of when posts are successful and what a lot of those successful content creators are doing. So if you look at the likes of, everyone's heard of people like Steve Bartlett, Mika Chris Donnelly, a couple of these other people, these are heavy hitters in the marketing and social space that are activating across multiple platforms. They're really doubling down on extreme value content, teaching way more than anyone really would. You'll notice an increase of cheat sheets and carousels, adding way more information than they should, because they're trying to be the ultimately most trusted individuals online to outcompete AI, because we are in a space where you do have to outcompete that. And I always take a very maximalist position on hosting as much as you can, because not to scare anyone, but it's picking up. It really is.
Can I just say, is Braithwaite's Tom. So I met Tom about 2 months ago, during the networking meeting, and he went, it's all about impressions. And I didn't know that, right? So I was like, okay. And the other got through my LinkedIn, and he was like, oh, that's 1,000 impressions, it's good, 1,500, 2,000. And then it was like, oh, content is good, videos are better, this and that. But then I've just then put a post on, so I'm ex-forces, and I put a post on of 3 pictures of shiny boots and put bulling boots, right? Now that 3 pictures went from my normal 1,500 impressions to I messaged Tom and I went, oh, this has been on 2 days and it's gone 30,000 impressions, right? It's now on 110,000 impressions, and I'm going, how? And
I thought it was boring. But it was cool, but
Okay, so let's back up a bit. So we're looking at some humanised content, right? So you're not doing a bit. So you may be saying infographics are key
From a commercial perspective.
Absolutely, I find them massively boring when I'm flicking through the socials. But humanised content absolutely work. My top 2 posts of the past 2 years. One is the picture of 5 of our families sat on the curb at a service station in France. And the other one was when I was talking about the Stein race, because I'm into trail running, so run up the Pennine Way, right? They are my top 2 performing posts. Did they directly earn our business any money? I can't actually answer that. No one clicked from that post to our business and gave us 10 million now, right? Did they give me a gazillion conversations and people to talk to? Yes, they did, right? Because this is humanised content, right? Hands up who's a solopreneur, couplepreneur, whatever we want to call ourselves. Who is? The vast majority. So people are buying into you, okay? They're buying into you, so share a bit more of you. When you go networking, you're not giving the business spiel, you're talking as you. We want to take those little bits of humanising into our social media. Even if we are doing an infographic or a flyer for Podcast Live, it doesn't mean it can't have more personality to it. And we talk about you are the niche. So you don't have a niche, you are the niche. So what are your 5 things that you can bring into your business content that people can connect with? So for me, family, running, love of food. I've split up my year by food, just like hot cross buns, now entering beers and barbecues. Probably clothing and just general outdoor family life, right? So I try to bring those 5 things into my content. And this is not one of those, well, actually, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say this, but the whole LinkedIn, Facebook game, because this is about our brand and our business, and we want people to connect with us. The analogy, like, you used to be employed, and the smokers were always the first people to be friends. Like, right? It's because they just bonded over a shared experience. We are taking that and extrapolating it out everything we do, across everything we do as business owners. We need to create these little touch points, which is basically being you, for people to connect with. Which is why the Boots post did so well.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, I agree. No, it's not. I like that. It didn't need to be rude saying, well, it was boring.
You told me.
But it wasn't up my street. But I mean, obviously, social posts, like a personal post about, oh, I went to this over the weekend, or dog.
Because it's integrating personal into the business stuff as well. It doesn't have to be either or. It can be merged.
I mean, from a personal point of view, does anyone worry that people know what you actually do? Because I think most people don't know what I do.
I thought you were a podcaster and an influencer. It took 3 times to meet you.
Yeah, I finished on it. If I want to go out and about, I try and use that approach that I hope will occupy streets. Because I want you to, I think I try and shy about that. Yeah, probably a little bit. Although,
Random question for you.
Why
What were you talking about? It is if a video is doing particularly well, would you still post another video that day? Because I got a bit like on TikTok, and it's hard men and they're back new to it because we have celebrity stuff. Like Formula One, we had like 300,000 views, and then I posted the Ed Sheeran video. It got like 4,000, and I was like, you should be getting because his album will come out.
video again, another 3 times over the next 3 weeks. TikTok is probably the most interest, but it's the one that started it all, right? The TikTok occasion, the internet. You might know as soon as TikTok popped up around the pandemic, every platform got some kind of scrolling feed, and it's the one that probably has the most scarily accurate on a particular person, right? So sometimes you take the same video, post it 4 times, and the 4th one will kill it. You'll never be able to predict when and where. It's just if it's picked up by a particular group. So the TikTok algorithm likes to use the approval buckets. So first 150 people or 200 people, if it does well with those, you move to the 500 to 1,000 bucket, so on and so forth. Sometimes it can be pure luck. Sometimes it's changing the caption. Sometimes it's post the video the same one 4 times, but change the headline and see what is actually effective. That's when you get into the kind of roles in marketing A/B testing, figure out what works.
Because you can like we could
Don't do it for LinkedIn.
No, because something's doing well. Do I post the next day again? Like, should I just carry on with that?
For LinkedIn, our founders. Sometimes you get that. If something going viral, let it agree. I think but TikTok, you could literally post 10 times a day.
I've got a good question about TikTok. So, like on my personal TikTok, where you have to admit, I can't really talk about one post where it's like particularly really well, and I thought, okay, people like that format, I'll redo it. You know, the 5 or 6 I've done since in the same format, haven't done anywhere near as well. What?
I'd have to look at the videos in the original.
Don't.
I'm saying about objects you could
Yeah, I understand. I basically
Hey Tom, you are the niche. This is one of
It
your
was me going to TK Max going, welcome to all this bit of my house. And I just have class. But if I thought it was a bit different funny, no, it's just right though. But the thing is, you have to analyse it on multiple different ways. So you can get into the weeds with short form content on TikTok, and it's going to be, right, hook. And this hook comes in different forms. So there's the visual hook. It might have been the particular shot, TK Max, where it looks particularly colourful when it got you. It could have been the title that was on screen, or it could have been the particular words you said in a certain cadence. You're not going to know. And then it's attention retention, right? TikTok's biggest grading curve is if you're there past the first half of the video, and almost like if you have 50% of people staying throughout the whole thing, that's the best positive indicator for TikTok. So again, people stick around is actually the most important thing, or most people like to fixate on the hooks. So yes, keep doing it, but experiment. I know that's gone well, so my question to Bob.
Okay, I did go with TikTok because that's been beating me right now. With my sort of industry, you know, you've got a lot of fake data, but you've got to understand as well. They say obviously the first 3 seconds is the killer time, isn't it? So
Yeah, it could be shorter than that, to be honest. 1 second.
what I mean for TikTok, each would you say to most optimized amount of time to create a video? Because you know it's like 6 seconds, 3 to 10 minutes.
What I do is TikTok has started to matter less. They are pushing longer form content now. So you would post up to 10 minutes. And some people are getting around it. I saw someone post the entirety of the Lion King the other day. Don't ask me how they did it. But, you know, long form videos are being tested. Like I watched an 8-minute breakdown of WrestleMania 50 the other day. Someone was explaining how it went. But if you're a good enough storyteller, that's what makes the difference. So when we think about, you don't want to overscript yourself, but that really does make the difference, right? Follow and throw from A to B. That's the key.
Saying that, I've actually been using teleprompter on CapCut. I'll tell you something, since using that, sound better, and obviously we have more views. So one particular video, and it's actually my first video, and there's a certain load of things that a lot of these content creators that on my account to use TikTok, who use certain new things for back SEO. And I thought I'd try it all out in one video, and I looked dressed like scruffy, and I didn't think it was my best video, but you know what, 1,300 views like that. And I thought,
Your TikTok largest users should. I mean, that's what you are. It's just TikTok. But Andy, question for you on that then. You see a lot of clients coming with scripts. You have to edit a lot of scripts. What are some of the best practices, I guess, for that? Or just like where people are more natural with scripts? Because teleprompter wasn't hard to depend on the person.
Well, we did a whole day yesterday of teleprompter stuff, and all 3 of our clients didn't use a teleprompter. Hands up, does everyone know what a teleprompter is? Yeah, lots of nods, great. And they're like a bit nervous about it. We don't get involved with the scripts from our clients because we're a production business. So we give guidance around the teleprompter. But the key around if you're using anything like that is to read it through 2 or 3 times before you start filming. So when it starts scrolling up and you figure out the speed and how comfortable that is, you then speak more naturally. Some people freeze and they just stare at it and you end up looking like an AI. So that's not what you want, is to practice it and keep it short and to the point and make sure it's written in a way which is a conversation. And this is where it's very important because you'll get like the marketing department or whoever write the script for you. It's like, we've got to hit that point, that point, that point, and it comes across unauthentic. If you have dyslexia like me, writing like a conversation becomes completely natural, and then you just write it like talk to somebody, basically. Did I answer that question again? Yeah.
actually I went back to throw you had comments in as well.
So,
Great example, right?
like YouTubers, what they do, if you look very closely at them, the majority of the really good ones will be using a teleprompter, and it will be a bullet point which comes up to trigger to say something. So you don't have to read word for word, but there's a knack and skill at it. So like when we work with clients yesterday, we listen to what they're saying, we're thinking, right, some big words come up, which means they're going to read even quicker. So we pause the teleprompter, allow it to catch up, and then carry on with them. Obviously on TV they have a pedal and sorts of different things.
What's saying? As a consumer, so like when you're at, you said to me when we spoke before, don't shop for yourself, Alan.
Okay.
He said, don't shop for yourself. But as a consumer, what do you like watching? Or
Do we want to admit that?
in the bedroom? I then was just doom scrolling at 11 o'clock at night. Like, what's your own question? I think everyone's speed is customers now.
Yeah, so there's a few things I really like. So this is so geeky and boring. I watch a lot of trail running videos on YouTube and social media. I watch a lot of car stuff, massively into cars. And then I do like things like Dr. Pimple Popper, ingrown toenail cutting out, I love. Ear waxed in now.
Yeah, that's good. Because obviously, like, you have your like, you're talking about format and stuff.
Big format, so I'm just giving you my life.
I mean, it's a good point.
We dive deep on the pinballs here. The actual type of video, what it does is it really encourages you to finish our thing. You want to see all the earwax out, what it looks like next to the ruler, right? You want to see the big, want to see the carnage afterwards. When you're coming up with formats, can you come up with a format that really wants you to see the end? But that's the key. If you're really analysing it from a social media,
We don't want to breakfast.
Yeah, clip one. They had the long form over on YouTube, and they clip farmed it into shorts to go on their social media. I liked him earlier, and Andy was like, let's go back to the basic level. The basic level of this is to get people started doing video, isn't it? If they're not already doing it.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm big on not overthinking or over worrying about the algorithm. So I may sit here in a kind of strategy position, and so is James. But actually, what Andy said about just picking up your phone and recording something is the answer. Because you will overthink it if you allow yourself to overthink it. So record something, press post. Because it is muscle memory. It's the more you do it, the happier you'll be with what you're doing. So just start doing it.
You've got to find something which is comfortable. So when I started off with videos, I didn't start off from my phone. I found it really difficult to look at the phone and record a video, so I used an actual camera. It's now reversed, but I'm actually really happy using the phone. You've got to find something which does it. So right now, I'm just started recording a meta video because I wanted something so that I can record what I was doing behind the scenes. I can take that, just put it out online. This is what I did today, and it's very, very quick. I think quick, easy, don't overthink it, find a bit of tech which works with you. The moment you start thinking about, I need a microphone, I need lighting, especially when you're getting going.
What dongle?
Yeah, what dongle? Stand next to a window for some natural light and start that way. It's only once you build on the confidence do you really want to go into a realm to work with somebody like ourselves on the professional side. We do work with people straight from the back, hasn't done videos, but usually you want to get to the point where you know who you are, you know who your audience is, because otherwise your messages will be missed and it won't work.
So, is that why podcasting works? And I'll go to Zoe. So, I'm not going to ask you about this, right? But like, obviously you've been doing it forever, right? Obviously we're here and then doing the podcast. You're a podcast lady now. But more and more people doing podcasting and finding that it works. To show personality or what the reason they do.
So podcasting can work, but it is tough going. It's almost like having another job as well, and you have to be very, very committed. I think there's a few things with podcasts, but I think you can see it as your marketing toolkit if used correctly. So first of all, it's 3 sections. You've got planning and prep. That is one section. Now that is so important. That is a third of the work that you're going to do on this podcast. But a lot of people will go straight to this middle piece, which is the making of, the recording of, the editing of, the producing of. That's only 1/3 of it. The last bit is the marketing, the distribution, the promotion of it. And how you use it as your marketing toolkit. So I would say plan that first bit. You need to know who you're talking to and really plan it. I would rehearse it, and run it. But actually what you can do is
But it's quite different. But in radio terms, we would every show we would have what we call planned spontaneity. We've had the conversation, or we're that close as a presenting team that we know where the other's going to go with that conversation. So you've got a take on it, but you might just say to them, right, I'm going to talk about running socks right now. You know that somebody's going to have some sort of take on it, or they're probably going to go, oh, Zoe, you're so dull. That's all you do now. You just run, and you make videos, about socks. So it's that planned spontaneity. You know the answer to the question before you ask it.
I have a top tip around podcasting. A lot of people, and I agree with everything Zoe said, a lot of people start a podcast for their business. Number one, it's very quick to do the filming part, the planning, the distribution is the bit which takes the time. But people start it, and we have some clients who are doing this, where I want to start a podcast to tell people about my legal service, and yet it's all about the guest who comes on. So if you're interested in podcasting, go on and guest onto other podcasts. That way you get a lot more reach without the expense and everything behind it. A podcast is very good if it's the one marketing thing you're doing, which you can get a lot of content out there. It's quick to execute on the film, it doesn't take a lot of time. You just got to make sure you've got a team behind you. We have a client that comes into the studio every 2 months to film 6 back-to-back podcasts with guests turning up from all over the country, and that's the only bit of marketing that company does now.
Sorry, that was what I was going to say about the marketing toolkit. So if you go and spend half a day making and recording these, you come away with 4-6 episodes of a video podcast, long form video. Then you have all of your clips that you farmed, as Jane says. Then you've got the audio as well. And that's really important to remember. When you're making video, a lot of people won't watch the 45-minute episode on YouTube, but they'll listen to it in the car. So you must make sure. The strangest one I had recently was I was doing an interview for Mayflower Theatre with a ventriloquist, and the monkey sat on his knee. Now that's for an audio podcast is really tough. And they're looking at me filming it and saying, oh, thank you, George, the monkey. Has to make it very, very obvious. It's very obvious on the video, but it has to work for audio. Because if you put a barrier up to listening, people will turn on, and that's it done. So you've got your full-length video, your full-length audio, your video clips, and then the transcription then works for the SEO. And you tweak that to make a blog and put that on your website or wherever you want to go.
YouTube, sorry to interrupt, so to get people open to audio thing, that's why people do on YouTube, because the search algorithm, the SEO on YouTube is better than the audio platform, so people start watching and then finish off listening to the audio. That's how you manage all the subscribers.
Yeah, the other thing, like, in the business world, I think sometimes people, this is kind of why we like to think we sit differently to marketing. It's like, I put this out, I need an immediate return, right? But actually in this game and in 2026, it is more and more, as James was saying. So we had, I messaged someone about one of our up and coming trips, I won't say it again for the moment, and she went, oh, I know that already. And I go, how do you know that? I haven't spoken to you, we're not on each other's socials. She went, oh, I still subscribe to your podcast from when we were doing it a couple of years ago, and we put a random episode out because we wanted to make that content. And she went, it just popped up in my car as I was driving along and I listened to it. We hadn't spoken to her in ages, we don't engage on each other's socials, we definitely don't meet her out and about. But at some point in the past, she subscribed to our podcast and heard this episode because it was just in her auto feed. And you can't underestimate these little things in human life that happen, the conversations in the pub. That's why we've always tried to, our main goal has just been for people to know the name Yellow Tuxedo rather than a specific action. Because we talk in the stairs, we talk at theme parks, we talk in the pub with our mates and our family. I was chatting to someone yesterday who said, "Oh, Alan, I really like that newsletter. I ended up showing it to my wife and daughter who have nothing to do with business a couple of weeks back." I was sparing my soul in one of our newsletters. And I you can't plan for that, and the conversations that may or could happen after that. But doing it allows for it to happen.
I just add one tiny bit of that. Everything we talked about there is just to gain touch points. Is everyone familiar with the term marketing touch points? Yeah, which is saying how many times can I see you before I trust you enough to interact? I think one of the last I saw it's like 7 times before you say one action, which could be a like. It could be a 7 times to someone. So imagine how many times it takes to get full inquiry. So they go back to the ecosystem point that Alan raised earlier. How easy is it for someone to interact with you with small stages? So if you are just content straight to a call, that's too far of a jump for a lot of people. So that's where a newsletter can come in. That's where maybe an app or something can come in, or a PDF downloadable can come in, right? You have to put these little steps in to make sure that's part of your touch point chain. And just make sure that when you look at your marketing from a top level, how many opportunities do I have to reach someone, no matter if I'm social, where they are?
We're borrowing very strongly. I have to admit this, I can't claim this as us. Daniel Priestley, oversubscribed.
Yeah.
He talks about 7 and 4, if I'm getting this wrong. So it's 7 hours over 11 interactions across 4 platforms before they will become a client, right? So, for argument's sake, Emily ran a retreat for Yellow Tuxedo, Emily's retreat last month. And so we've had 4 people on that. They've had way more than 7 hours because they were there for 3 days. And 2 of them, 3 of them, in all fairness, 4 of them basically declared their undying love for our business and our brand and have signed up for more. One's now become a technical client as well as an experienced client. And because that was a fast track way, okay, let's bring that back to normal life, not running retreats every 5 minutes. We're looking at everything James is talking about. We're talking about talking here, webinars, newsletters. What else can we do within the time we have in our day? Are we hitting our goals? No, we probably need to do a bit more. If we're hitting our goals, yippee-ki-yay, let's all move to Barbados, right? So if we're not, then we may need to do a little bit more, and we need to make it as efficient and single as possible, whether that's getting someone like Andy to help you record it, or James to do his bit, or us to do our bit.
He just solved enough, Rick. Well, I'm sorry. No. Yeah, go on,
Just came for me. What percentage of revenue or profit would you say needs to be dedicated to marketing content? And how that increase?
That's really tough because it does depend on the company position. I never recommend an overall percentage. I recommend a sustainable spend where that position may be. Because with this stuff, I always say a lot of marketers forever have been caught what I call the culture of campaigns. Everything's manifested in, I'll do this for 3 months, I'm going to do this, and you sell it to CEO, sounds great, and in 2 months, gone. And it's like, okay, cool, you chuck 10 grand behind that, what did it do? Absolutely nothing, right? But if you'd invested that 10 grand into a content team, they'll support you for 6 months to 12 months, the return's way higher. You just have to have the patience to let it come to fruition. So I think it depends on company position, it depends on a lot of different factors. But whatever the spend is sustainably, I think there's a big old elephant in the room here we talked about yet, which is AI in your marketing stack. Like, how many people are using AI for content and marketing services right now? How many people feel like they know enough to really deploy it properly? So my really quick recommendations, Claude. If anyone's on ChatGPT, switch, like snap. Claude is really good at practical implementation, right? So keep that in mind. So if we go back to the formula we were talking earlier, Tom, for your podcast, for instance, we've got pods, we've got mid-sized clips, we've got short clips, we've got transcripts. You can pretty much design a couple of prompts in Claude to transform all those articles. You could design all of the graphic content, which all the graphics on my profile have been meticulously generated using Claude. Things included, right? So it's just nothing but bang, bang, bang. But what I'm doing is I'm feeding the transcription of my own words in creation. So I feel less guilty. So this is me lying to myself. It's not slop, it's me.
Do you have to pay for all of that?
Yes. So I'm on the Claude Pro plan. I'm very tempted to go mad. But in 2 weeks, I've redesigned our website and our offering. and our studio website. I've had a whole new brand kit done. I've saved so much money by doing Claude. Now, this puts a lot of other companies in particularly bad spots, but I think having some system and certain skills installed into Claude can save everyone so much time. And it's really, really important to have it in mind and figure out how you're actually speeding things up so you're not so cost effective, not so cost heavy, and you focus on the things that are limited to that trusted human factor, keeping that authenticity. So the production, right? The events and the systems you put together and the ecosystem, but you're getting it run by done with tech. That is important to think about for your individual cases.
Is AI becoming more like, I mean, I just see it as a switch up. But then also I see it sometimes I'm like, oh, I kind of want to watch.
I've lost weeks of my life that would dig on it.
What do you mean split off? Sorry, Jack.
When I can't see an AI, when I can't see an out, what's up in the song? No AI. I'll be like, no, you put no effort in.
Because there's a humongous divide between AI sloppy content, AI assisted content. And you can tell, right? Because any posh infographic or like carousel you see nowadays is most likely AI. But is the content good enough? Because it would have had to come from the founder posting it and the knowledge from that individual. Because ultimately AI is still sourcing for everything else. So you really have to be meticulous with it. You have to train it constantly. I've spent hours on whipping it into shape. Just go, no, again! But once you get to a place and you can constantly bank and say the memory, so it's a bit like, what was that show, that really harsh lady, and you used to have to do questions, you had to say back to store your information. The weakest thing. Yeah. Constant questions back. Right, I've saved that for the next time, especially if you're using things like co-work feature or Claude, which is probably the data center slice break. Everyone familiar?
No.
So essentially co-work is a practical thing can work within your computer. So we're all used to the chat feature, but you hop over to co-work and simply download it on your computer. You can then go, oh, I've got these messy files here, can you sort them all out for me? Or here's a folder with all the social content. Can you put it into a full social media schedule for me, right all up in my brand style, here you go. Or I've got this browser open here. You can actually get Claude to schedule your LinkedIn post for you, and co-work will take over your Google Chrome browser. It's insane.
Is it a bait jump? Because that's just, I just guess so much I even did it.
Step by step. I haven't done the implementation of scheduling it for me. I have got it to create a month's worth of social stuff, but I haven't got it to schedule it automatically for me. So I know there'll be a limitation. But it does let you know.
It's no different to like, I'm not jumping across something completely to these self-driving cars, right? Where like, could you imagine a few years ago actually letting it? And now there's videos of people letting their cars drive for them. There's a video I saw yesterday of some guy asleep in his car as it was driving him down the freeway in the States.
It's just going to slow down. Everyone really has to get hands on it, ethical positions aside. AI stop, chuck it a bit. If I see one more like Gen AI caricature, oh, this represents me. No! And I hate that trend. I'm sorry for anyone who participated, but I despised it. That and bleeding the bit. But the practical elements, key, please. It speeds up the workflow.
I'm going to bring that to video now, and before we get so my business is skyrocketing at the moment. I don't say that in an eager way, and that is because of AI. And this is why we're all here, because with AI getting so good and it's ridiculous you can't tell what's real, it's even more important for everybody in this room to show their authentic self. I hate using that word, but it's true. That's where the stories come into play. A guest on a podcast this week, he came in, he was filming his studio, and I said to him, how many stories do you do a day on Instagram? He says, I do 12. And I was like, that's so much. It's 12 minutes. It's probably 15 minutes by the time you think back, post it. But he does that. He said, I will not post photos because it could be faked. This can't be faked. And that's why video is going hand in hand. It's powerful as AI at the moment because you need that. You need that trust.
It's a proof of life. It's insane you have to do it. But yeah, like that's why even a video is still on the performance thing on LinkedIn. I'm still putting it out almost daily. It's like, hello, still real, carry on. Like, it's insane.
I think the reason why I did Mobcast initially was so people could see that you're real and that you're normal. Why I got very well with distribution, but I just found the things in the way I gave it. It's really so people got touched with, so they know I exist, and they know hopefully that
Also help was a reminder. If the clip goes out, the lead have been chasing around, you see in their feed, oh yeah, I've got a message out from Tom. It can be as simple as that.
And the thing for me, if you are a small business opener and you decide to do a podcast, you know the bit that's often overlooked in amongst all this? Just having bloody conversations with people. You know, it's a reason to DM someone and go, oh, do you fancy a conversation about the podcast? I'd like to be on it. And you don't, once again, whether they then become, you know, a fan of your brand or a client or whatever, it doesn't really matter.
So if you have a little bit of reach, and if someone will actually apply to that as well. Besides having I think it was a big thing when I first did it, especially. But I also like, I sort of like giving it back out to other people. So you came on the other day, Andy, didn't you? And it's useful because I'll give you the content. You can click up and use it for wherever you want. I feel like I'm doing a good service, and then you're more likely to recommend me because I did you a favour or did you like a no. You can monetize it there on the moment you got views. Well, it's the most loose term. That's one of the reasons why I did it. But also, you're quite interested and it's an interesting subject.
For me, it was brilliant. James, Daryl knows today, and because I was able to come on your podcast made me really because I could talk usually, so I can't talk today, but I talk quite quickly and off the cast with no planning. So you ask me those questions, I answer them. Whatever comes out comes out. Easy peasy, no planning. So being a guest on anyone's podcast, very happy. Just in case anybody else wants.
Yes. Do you think I should charge? Do this just so
Can you do sponsorship?
I like it. Yeah, but your podcast has led to this, you know. You've now got everyone here who knows you are, and the content that comes from it. This is about branching out continuously and making noise, making touch points, whatever. You said the 11-4, all these things. These are all going on all the time. Now you can get caught up in that, or you can just do some stuff. I really said shit. You can just do some stuff. You've got to do something. One of the ones I like is an influencer, businessman influencer, not a check we do my hair influencer. And it's like, if you're at capacity, increase your prices. If you're not at capacity, do more, right? To get there, do more marketing, do more bragging, do more, not like bragging stuff, but you know what I mean, do more touch point stuff. So that's it. That's the line. Am I at capacity? No. I'll do more. Am I now? Yes. I'm going to increase my price. You know, it's like, got to bring it down to the Super Bowl levels at the time.
Okay. I think in my industry specifically, there is a lot, like in everybody, there's a lot of competition, but I don't really see anyone else doing 100 million.
There's only one Tom and Malley.
I work on 4 businesses, like to help them with basically on their front line of where they need their help, and they're not necessarily going to know. And I'm not sure that they spoke to me rather than talking to a robot or some brand. But I don't see anyone else doing it, and I thought that's a niche. That's why I'll do that. But I mean, we're getting tight for time. But is anyone of you like things that you want to add, or any? I think we should just get some questions. Yeah. And then I've got any burning questions. Yeah, super.
Perfect. So earlier on, we mentioned transcript as an SEO. What's that been about?
Oh, so you've had a conversation on podcast. You can use any tools to write down every word that was said. And you can put that into something like a Claude to transform that into whatever ad set you need, whether it's email, graphics, or articles.
Okay, so putting captions on while you're speaking on a video, is that necessary for SEO, or is that more for
SEO?
More for interaction, so people who can't listen can see.
It's both. So all social advertisers will read every signal possible to rank a video and how good it is or where it should put it, because everything's church-based, right? The captions that are in the video go along with that. Often a lot of captions are in so-called an SRT file, which are read separately via these things and then popped out. So yes, they're really helpful for videos, but then the full captions because captions use interchangeably between like what's said in the show and not this massive 30-page document, and then subtitles on screen. So subtitles always, I think say 70% of videos watched without sound, because that's the default on LinkedIn and everything else. So everything you do has to be hookable silently. So that gets into the realms of what's your visual hook and your written hooks before someone's turned that sound on. Kind of goes across at least any platform apart from TikTok, so that starts to sound straight away. So it's an interesting word.
It is, and some of the most viral, if you are chasing virality, some of the most viral videos have no words in them. They're just visual speed. So if you have a product-based business, you're laughing, right? You should just be doing long-form packing boxes. Is it ASMR or AMS? ASMR videos. Like, you don't even need to be in it. If you being on the video is the blocker, don't go on it, right? But you can still create content.
His hands got down here. I mean, I have attempted to buy that beers. You seen that beers thing on? So I get it all the time. They put it on 10 seconds. Yep, that'll do it. Where you can paint your. This is less way.
I bought Lumos to times because it was, I saw all these videos, blah, blah. The thing is, it's my brother-in-law was a present as well.
I bought an LED katana the other day. That was pretty cool. 25 quid, that's when I had the set.
Have we got any other questions? No one, we got anything else by now? I'll go with.
Yeah, it's just going to be going on the lines of sort of talking about, a lot of people will look at these things, will train the way home, like videos. Take Instagram, for example. And that's where our primarily puts that. If I'm doing a front-facing video, it's not just, nice inspirational stuff. It's, I would always put caption subtitles on it. How important is the written as well on the side? Because I will always put something that's slight context of what I'm talking about in almost the first 40 seconds. But I know people that will just almost replicate the whole script, which I wouldn't do. But what would your advice be there?
We're platform dependent. And I'm not sure what your take on this. I don't know if I can the rest, but for me, platform dependent. I basically never read Instagram captions, and it'll be user dependent as well. It'll be your habits and things. But the more information you give a platform, the more information it has to put you in the more correct place. I don't recommend going too long on Instagram because it's an Instagram, but enough context. You're on the right track.
One of the ways I always think about that, and that's just kind of like when we talk about our ecosystem, your website's at the middle. Unless you start to optimize it and tell the platforms what's going on, you're basically a wash at sea, right? So if you've got a target audience, then you need to ensure that language on the captions and in the text underneath and everything else is there, so they know who to show it to. Your mission is literally to make sure these platforms know who to show your content to, and by the words you use, I'm trying to say, because that's the caption, so the subtitles and the caption, people talk about hashtags being dead or not, don't really care about it, because sometimes it's a simple way of writing a word, but I want that platform to know it. So I try not to think about the algorithm per se. I do every little bit in fairness, but more about I need to give that platform the information it needs so it's showing into the right people, otherwise it's scattering it far and wide.
And I guess that's it. It's knowing how much is video content, it's reading video first over what you're being in caption, like you say. I mean, I don't necessarily go to what the algorithm don't want me to say, but I will notice some keywords, dictionary picks like that.
You started doing more of that recently. I've seen a lot more on Instagram. You know what Ben does, Ben's trying to do bespoke person. But how do you get that? Because that's not a new job, is it? But it's...
So I've been doing this a year, and but I was in creative agency beforehand, and so I've always had that side of once my socialist and better. And I think I was at our mini conference yesterday, and I was asked to go on stage to talk about this very thing, which I think is so coincidental. You got to play it today is really interesting. But I started doing the sort of putting myself in front of camera quite quickly into my business last year because I saw a necessity. I need people to trust me. They will need to see my face, need to know who they were. And as times go on, especially more into this year, people are recognizing that. And I think, look, I'm no influencer, but I have a decent following now, and I would say maybe once every week or two, I'll do a speaking to camera deer. And it will get that reach, it will get this reach. It's not massive. Huge.
The question I am to you is really like, what do you worry about talking about? Well, I can't remember what I just remember seeing you. I can't remember what you were talking about.
I tend to relate it to the service. I don't go and say, oh, you think, oh, I can set the holiday to the Maldives for £1,000 or whatever it might be. I might talk about a pain point at a destination or something like that. But a lot of it I would do about driving my service. Like one of the things I talk about is busting that myth, but I don't charge a fee for what I do. But I always make sure I get that in the hook. And I will also put that at the top line of my written caption.
You do similar to what I actually done, yes. So I guess it's part of a conversation we're up afterwards, but it's part of put it in a bit together as your programming essentially.
Ben, you're a great storyteller. Well,
And that was one of the things I was asked to go on stage to talk about yesterday. I mean, head office seemed to be really good at it. I always say I'm okay at it, and and I'm learning all the time, and I'm learning from other TCs as well, from Trumpers. But it's the amount of people who came up to me yesterday after being on stage. They're amongst a billion people, and I never know who you talk about being out of comfort zone. I'm breaking it, right? Especially going after our CEO as well. So. But the amount of people came up to me after and said, oh, I love it social, whatever you do, and I love how you put yourself out there. And I just go and do it. It doesn't have to be polished. Yeah, sometimes some of my posts, and I go to other networking groups where they give me content creation. So I build more of a, music as kind of caption-driven kind of clip, 30 seconds, so just to sell my service. And that, again, gets reach. But it still doesn't get more of me talking you buns a bit. And I'll do a mix of that behind the scenes, like you said, in my stories, and more of a service-based, punchy reel every week.
Sorry, you feel like great brain artist there. Do you have a signature series at the moment? And this would probably be a good thing for anyone to think about in the room. Some of those have our socials, it doesn't have to be a big format like a podcast. It could be a signature series. Have you ever done much content on Instagram or TikTok that is like really script? You got a picture and then or a video in the back?
No, but it's spoken up in the community. People have different kind of things.
You absolutely could. And so I imagine a series for you, Mysteries of the World Part X, and just go, all those pictures you Bora Bora, here's why they actually bite you. And then you could just tell a story about that. Or, then you could just do it in infinite places. And at the end of every video, it's just, by the way, I'm a travel agent. If you want help creating an experience like this and finding the world's mysteries, DM me. I'm in. You could be one. If you find your signature series, or anyone you find a signature series you do on repeat, that is both valuable and interesting for the general public, also for your ICP, you're in.
I've done some things with static, but with little success.
Merge the two. It's the interaction, it's the storytelling, get it, finish it.
And it keeps you re-engaged with what you're doing, because everyone said at some point, don't go out there what to post today. So if you are doing the series, then absolutely, what's the next thing in the series? And it's okay if that series stops, and then you have a little bit of a
new series.
And you want something else? Yeah, absolutely.
Our catchphrase used to be, helping businesses post our content creators. They didn't realize it figured it out. Every business that's completed through analysis, no shit. Excuse my friend. Wow, we're all doing the same thing. I don't think anyone's complaining. We got an edit here.
Just one more question for Brad, but before we're going to withdraw that in a minute. But has anyone got any last minute want to buy a raffle ticket? Nah, we'll start it. Don't see Katie outside the team. But Brad, I think you had a question, didn't you?
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to move over there because otherwise everyone's heads are going to have to turn around. But I've been working with Tom for over a year and a half now, and I've been sat at the back very quietly just listening because these guys are amazing at what they do. I absolutely love the fact that what this panel's getting so fast.
Anyone else worried about what Brad's about?
I'm like the same. No, it's just everyone here, I'm presuming, has come here to get really useful information regarding video content discount, right? And I tend to look at that from the macro scale. And I really step back, and Tom knows I'm incredibly controversial, like him, and I just say what I would think. And I think one of the things I'd like to just have an open discussion with you guys about is these businesses, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever. We live in an attention economy, right? These businesses make billions a year. charging companies millions per day to put ads in front of other people, our target market. And they also have us by default because they also charge people to not see the ads. YouTube Premium, LinkedIn Plus, etc. Right? So to everybody on both ends of the spectrum, and we're sat here holding bags at the end of the day and trying to like get the drips or drabs of the end. And that's the reality of trying to promote a business on social media. And so what I've been saying from the big for, but that's the point of a podcast, I think, is you shouldn't ever be creating content, in my opinion, that is based off of what are my USPs, what messages do I need to say to my target market, what advice should I be getting, unless you're going for like an authority-led positioning, you know, if you're going to try to educate your audience. Because if you're a service-based business on social, you shouldn't be trying to make sales. You should be trying to educate and forward advice, right? Because then when your product or service comes up 6 months down the line, you're front of mind. That's the real value of social media for service-based businesses. If you're e-com, completely different. Because you can do UGC content, you can have TikTok to say, oh, look at this great face cream I'm using, it's 50% off, blah, 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 add to cart now. If you're e-com, social can do great for sales. But if you're service, it's educate, advise, and inform, right? And if the question that you're burning in your head is, well, how do I get my brand in front of as many people as humanly possible for the most inexpensive ways possible, you have to play by Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn tools, because they're the biggest dot in the room. There's nothing you can do to avoid it. Doesn't matter how much of an entrepreneur you think you are, or a startup, great guru you think you are. You can't fight these companies because they're just enterprise level companies. So the real secret, I think, to getting viral and having new content out is just to play by those rules. How do I make sure my content is seen multiple times? How do I get people past the first 3 sectors? How do I make them watch until the end? Like, what is your take on the concept that we were all just playing a game in a system that's pre-designed for us to lose in the first place?
Absolutely. No, it's a valid point, isn't it? And we always talk about this with our clients. So you've got rid of their businesses at the end of the day. LinkedIn's gone down recently, Meta's gone down. They can all go down. You know, your email, if you've got a MailChimp list, MailChimp could go bust, and literally your 55,000 subscribers could disappear overnight. When we do it, I'm a bit like Andy didn't want to self-promote. Like, you want to build an audience, and in the most perfect world possibly, you're building that audience off a non-algorithmic platform. Because the second you are subject to the algorithm, you are subject to their terms. So create that audience, and there's a couple at the top of the tree. So sort of the top is a community or a membership, because they are basically paying to hear from you, right? And then underneath that, you've got an email list, which back up monthly in case that platform goes down. But that's what you want to be doing. You want to be taking everyone off of an algorithmic platform to wherever you can hold that away from all of these companies. Because if anything happens to that, and let's be honest, in 2026, it's more likely than ever before for these platforms to disappear, okay? They are just businesses like all of us. Especially Meta. I mean, look what happened with Twitter and all the rest of it, like quickly fell on the cliff. So you want to take them off, you want to build that audience, you want people to be interested in you. And when it comes to things like, I'm just touching email lists specifically, people are choosing to be there. They want to hear from you. It's a fantastic place to be as a business to have an email list. Ours is really quite modest, to be honest. Oh, that's about 500-600 people, I think, depends which way the wind's blowing. But absolutely, we get told we love it, we get click-throughs, people buy from it, we talk about what we're up to, and personally, and everything else. And actually, I don't know, if we're going to be controversial, right? I don't necessarily agree with the 3. What do you say? Educate? Something inform?
Educate, advise, inform.
So we put entertain.
Yeah.
Because we want people to buy into us as human beings. Because once again, if they're buying us as humans, they are less likely to be bothered about the algorithm because they want to come and find out more about it. Which comes back to human writing content, you are the niche, and these other buzz things I've said. But fundamentally, do what you can to get people off of the algorithmic platforms to somewhere you can own that data, is what it boils down to.
But when do you ask too much from client? Like, there's a local brickie that doesn't want to do a dance on TikTok for views. Do you know what I mean? You're saying entertain, which is fantastic.
I'm not saying that, girl. I didn't say you're bit words in my mouth. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
If you put the poor guy into the mix, I can't.
He's great.
He's cool.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When entertains subjectively.
That's down to you, your audience, and everything else, what they want about it.
Can I just say, I work a lot in the record industry. The record industry is going down seriously at the moment. Spotify is paying nobody. Tidal's paying nobody. No, AI music is sucking up so much.
Yeah.
What's happening? People are going back to gigs. People are buying vinyl, tapes, physical products. What can you do to create a community that cares about you, your brand, and your product? That's what it comes down to.
This isn't as much of a plug as it's going to sound like. But that is genuinely one of the reasons we're moving into in-person events. Because A, actually our back catalogue is in doing stuff like that. And B, we're in this world and we're overwhelmed by how much there is to do. Like, look at all the stuff we've talked about today, right? There is so much going on. I'm like, do you know what I want to do? I want to sit on a rooftop terrace with some other business owners in Marrakesh in November and enjoy the sunset. That's literally what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it.
It's done. It's done. Ready for generous people. Yeah, so from a macro perspective, we go even out further, we are essentially in techno-feudalism. We'll be very honest. I think Lisa white. So from that perspective, we are owned by these big companies. They remember when Trump was inaugurated, the people sat in the front row behind him, where the guys that own Meta, Google, and the rest.
Yeah.
But so it's going to be a conspiracy theory. It's not even a conspiracy theory. It's like, let's do our raffle. Everybody final bits that they want to ask was anyone got a take place? Yeah.
I wondered where Substack comes from.
Oh, just about that thing on Substack. I absolutely love it. It's such a good up-and-comer of a platform, especially if you want to dive deep, educate. It's killer. Has anyone heard of Substack? Yeah, it started more as a kind of political and science platform, and now it's kind of evolved, had more of a business aspect. Really handy to have. These embracing video a lot as well as internal video creation tools with live podcasts. This would have been brilliant to stream to Substack, and where a lot of your video from written content can go as well. But be more thoughtful and present in Substack because it needs the attention, and there's a lot of manual growth. So following other people, interacting with other people, don't underestimate the time that needs to be invested in Substack, but it can pay off dividends. It's early doors, it's early Facebook at the moment, so you can consider it Substack diving. Have you all had fun? You want to have fun? Are you ready to draw a raffle?
Yeah!
You